Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. I hope everyone's doing well. It's good to see a Mesozoic mind. It is indeed Kingdom Hearts Day. Let's go. Gonna be working on a very tedious work from home project. Ooh, well, I hope this provides some good background noise for you while you're working. But glad to have you. And I hope everyone else had a good weekend. We finally got some good weather here in the city, and so I got to go to Governor's Island for the first time. It's a little island off the southern end of Manhattan. And if you've never been, it's very nice. If you're in the city and you're looking for a place to kind of see the southern skyline but be away from the crowds a bit, you could do worse than Governor's Island. So, you know. But we're not here to talk about tourism in New York City. We're here to play Kingdom Hearts. That soundtrack. And if you're vacation having a good time, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you had a good vacation. Let's see what was... Too precious to lose. Xion didn't come to the clock tower again. She and Sykes had some kind of argument. And Axel and I talked for a while about the things we can't bear to lose. Axel thinks that for nobodies, it's our pasts, because that's all we have to remember, the pain of losing something. I don't remember my past, but the idea of losing the present Axel or Xion scares me. Our soft boy is afraid. Hey, I look into Poppet's eyes. I see determination. Come here. Let me see your game face. No. What this game needs is a few thrills, don't you agree? No. I saw Xion a little while ago. She was heading out, though. No, Xion. Today we need you to go exterminate a powerful Heartless. Go in prepared. Oh yeah? What if I go in unprepared? What are you gonna do? Fight an avalanche? Sir, there's no snow in Twilight Town. How can there be an avalanche? Hey, isn't that... Oh, hi, Xion. Hey, Xion. Roxas? Don't you have a mission? Yeah, they sent me here today. Really? Huh, me too. They're such awkward teenagers. Roxas, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have run off like that yesterday. Whatever. It didn't bother me. I was upset. I messed up on a mission really bad. I don't suppose you heard about the guy pretending to be one of us, the organization imposter? I was ordered to take him out, but I couldn't beat him. Sykes was so mad he called me a mistake. Oof. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Don't be. That jerk can say whatever he wants. I can take it. No, that's still a hostile work environment. Hey, Xion, why don't we work together today?
Huh?
Huh? How? Let's double up our missions. If we team up, we should be able to cut through work faster. Well, okay. Maybe we'll finish early and we'll have more time for ice cream. Hi, cream! Send the little one out to fight and then complain. I mean, that is Sykes' way. Hostile work environment, and now they're toxic unionizing? Oh, how could they? Good to see you, Bad Roxy. Whoa! Where did you come from? I can't believe the Organization 13 is trying to become Union 13. But they already have Union Cross. It's a Kingdom Hearts joke, 'cause there's another game called Union Cross. We're not going to be playing that one on stream, though. I'm not going to play any of the mobile games on stream because, one, you can't. They've shut them down. Today I scheduled an unplanned dental appointment for tomorrow after getting a lot of work done in the first half of the year. Does that sound like fun? No, but it sounds necessary. Good to see you, Brayherd. Quit glitching into the floor and disappearing. Your texture doesn't know what to do on a slanted surface. Your teeth are somewhere other than perfect. So they're British, is what I'm hearing. Well, speaking of medical stuff, here's a father joke for Nana Kit. It's terrible news. I had to take my clock to the vet recently. It was just riddled with ticks. Nothing like a timely rim shot. Do you know the secret to good comedy? That one was so bad that it took a few seconds for me to get. Couldn't hear the punchline over the game. Well, my clock had ticks. That's why I had to take it to the vet. Timing, by the way, that's the secret to good comedy, timing. My favorite way to do that is to be talking to someone in person and then just not follow up. And then, like, hours later, text them timing. Or the second best way is to interrupt them. So, do you know what the secret to comedy is? Timing! I see badges in there, but I can't get in. Ah, here we go. You flip the switch. Roxas, maybe you want to attack the plants? I don't know why I keep losing auto-targeting on it whenever it hits me. It stuns me with my beauty. It certainly stuns me. I don't know about beauty, though. Ow, ow, ow. Quit donking. No. Oh, that was heavy. That's why I couldn't jump. The secret to good comedy is to know your audience. I have friends who get crossing theology and Star Trek, something like that. Yeah. I mean, that is also part of it, but, you know. The timing joke. It's classic. I can't believe I was ambushed by this giant shadow when trying to get this emblem. I am shocked and amazed. I am. You can't beat the classics with a stick. You're not treasure. You named a seahorse Land Biscuit? That is amazing. Oh, well done, Bad Roxy. That is a power move. You flip the switch. So many switches. Well, if they're letting you go into the secret place, it's gotta have something. Oh, hey, Unity badge. I was hoping for a little more, but... Oop. It's boss o'clock. Dagron. Well, it's weak to fire, so that's... No, I didn't want to use that. Well, this was pretty easy. Quick question. The assumption is a holy day of obligation, but not if it's on Monday or Friday. How do we know which feast day does that or not? So it kind of depends, because like it can be up to a diocese to still have it. Typically it's a Saturday or a Monday. If it's a Friday, it's still typically a holy day of obligation. But like Christmas Christmas is by its very nature kind of in a special class. That and Easter, but Easter's always on a Sunday, so it doesn't really matter. Those are kind of considered immovable feasts. They are of sufficient importance because, you know, they are the birth and resurrection of our Savior. That they're kind of the most important thing, and everything else works around them. Other than that, typically holy days of obligation just follow the rules of if it's on a Friday, if it's on a Saturday or a Sunday or Monday, it is typically abrogated, and if it's on a Sunday, then, well, you celebrate it in place of the Sunday of ordinary time that it happens during. It gets... I think that's really the only exception. Well, the one other exception is Annunciation. That one gets moved around all sorts of weird ways because it lands in Holy Week sometimes, but... So, how about that ice cream? How about that ice cream? Okay, yeah, sure. Why are you sad? We did the thing! Wonder where Axel is. Guess we got the work done a little too fast, huh? Yeah, most U.S. dioceses move Ascension Thursday to the Sunday. You just really, it's in the Northeast and Nebraska as the exception.
Face. Who are you really? And why do you have a Keyblade?
Tell me first, why you are dressed as one of us.
To make sure my best friend sleeps in peace. I don't know who you're supposed to be, but you can't fight fire with sparks. This Keyblade, it's a sham. Worthless.
My Keyblade is not a sham. What gives you the right to say that?
Find a new crowd. Trust me, those guys are bad news.
Yeah, Riku's done being an edgelord. Now he's a good guy.
You're the real sham.
Fair enough. You could say I am the biggest nobody of them all.
Yeah, he's always going to have a little edge, but, you know, he's... You know, he didn't just, like, take her out. Shion, hey, Shion! What's the matter with you today? I just got psychologically demolished by a total stranger, so... I mean, sorry, my mind's on other things. Roxas, why are we doing all this? Working for the organization. What do you mean, why? So we can get hearts of our own, right? Why? What do we need hearts for? I don't know. But I figure once we have them, we'll be in a better position to judge. Right? Oh. Sweet summer child. Oh, maybe. I just wish I knew what I was doing here. How I got here. Started having the strangest dreams. Really? I can never remember what they're about. I just wake up feeling like something is really wrong. Well, if it makes you feel any better, Xigbar said you and me were pretty special. Exceptional, he said. Special just means different. Because I'm a mistake. No. Well, maybe... I mean, you're not a mistake. Well, we may both be exceptional, Roxas. I don't think we're the same. Xion, wait! Idolatry and a crust is my cookbook. Hey, Roxas! Hey, Axel. Xion couldn't make it again today? Oh, you just missed her. Oh, hi, itty bitty Sora in lower screen vision. He's so small. High jump! Ooh, and fire a recipe. That's pretty sick. The wrong buttons. You fool, you've ordered navy blue for our jackets. It's supposed to be black. Right. I ran into Xion in Twilight Town. I guess she messed up a mission pretty bad the other day, and it's been bugging her. I went up to the clock tower afterwards. She said me and her are different, which is pretty obvious if you look at us, but I don't think that's what she meant. A lot seems to be on her mind, and it's not the same as what's on mine. Let's see if we can synthesize this fire. That'd be pretty nice. Autolife is nice to have to hang on to for boss fights later on. It's like a one-time Phoenix down. Gonna pick it up for now. I'm not going to equip it. Dang it, we don't have enough. We need blazing gems. Can I make blazing gems? Ooh. Perfect block. This block man allows you to block just as an attack hits to eliminate recoil. Depends on the lighting, I guess. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, some better prize power. Strike ring might be good. I don't remember what our current ring is. Strength, defense, ice resistant, magic bracer. Nah, I'm gonna stick with that. But I do want to equip high jump. I stumbled upon this earlier. It serves me no purpose. Take it. Combo attack. I don't know how that doesn't serve you. You seem like a pretty combo heavy guy. I sure hope Poppet pulls through. That was one tough mission she got stuck with. Ah! I wanted to dodge roll. Yeah, and so when's our next day off? For real, Demix. One of the missions I have for you requires you to visit a new world. Go unprepared. Now let's check out this new world. I wonder what it could possibly be. Actually, let's do the optional mission first. No, 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 you do not get to sing that song. No healing for you. Zaldin! Quit getting in my way! I've had it up to here with these cymbal monkeys hiding in these chests. Quick question. I know priests originally were supposed to say Mass every day. Were congregations of 10 Mass every day as well, or was that up to them? It was more, yeah, as daily Mass developed, that was more an expectation of priests. Obviously, it is a public thing, so people can join, but the general expectation was that the daily Mass of priests at that time would have one person present, and that would be their server, because you couldn't have Mass properly without a server. So in some parishes, you know, that's where you altar boys, but if you had multiple priests, they'd basically take turns serving for each other to do their daily masses. And if it was like a religious house in particular, they'd also have a mass in-house every day where they'd all attend, but then also go do their own mass. So that was kind of the idea in the wake of the Second Vatican Council of like, why are we celebrating together? No, daily mass was not always a thing. I forget exactly when it first shows up, but it is a later development in the West in particular. The earliest example we have is the Didache saying do a thing on Sunday and do the liturgy on Sunday and then have another kind of liturgy on Wednesday. I forget exactly if that's meant to be a Eucharistic one or just like a prayer, like a communal prayer act, but yeah. Yeah, daily mass didn't really become a thing in the West until, like, I want to say, like, the 8th century is what my mind is remembering, but... Oh, cool, I love that I couldn't actually, you know, attack that thing while it was prone on the ground because the other thing was bouncing around so much. Dang it. He has me silenced, so I can't use my cure spell. Zaldin, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. You just, like, disappeared. Can't cure. Use items. Well, I only have a limited number of items. You can't just use items. This is a video game. Exactly. Too good to use syndrome. And for the record, I have already used 2 items on this match. Zaldin, will you stop getting in my way? I cannot attack this thing through you. Why is your model so big? Yeah, and Brayherd's right. In the Christian East, it's still not a thing to do daily mass. That's why Liturgy of the Hours equivalent in the East is much longer. It's because they didn't have a daily mass to compete with time, so they were like... So in the West, they were like, how can we shorten these Liturgy of the Hours so that we have more time to do other stuff? Here's in the East, it was like, not a problem. I was dodge rolling? You should not have been able to touch me. I had iframes. This is cheating. Oh no, I'm not fighting another one. Grabbing this treasure and leaving. Treasure. No, treasure. Well, for some people it is a necessary part of their own spirituality to attend Mass daily and receive the Eucharist. And it is the hope of the Church that she be able to provide that for all believers. Hey, no Shion? Huh, don't hold your breath. Did something happen yesterday? It's nothing. I would say it's nothing. Goals sure are complicated, huh? How did you know that's what I was thinking? Because you're not so complicated. But don't take it personal. Most nobodies aren't. You mean real people are more complex than us? Well, sure, especially if they're real and female. That's like a double dose of complicated. Great, Axel. So, what about a nobody girl like Shion? Single dose. I am so lost. Well, the important thing to remember when dealing with girls is not to push the wrong buttons. Got it memorized? Yeah, I wish you told me that before. Well, just give her some time. Why? Because if you rush in there and try to fix things, you'll just press more buttons. It's actually sane advice. Fine, whatever. You're all right, kid.
Huh?
Don't call me kid. Stop laughing. You'll patch things up with her, trust me. I hope so. Axel should start an advice column. Dear Axel. That would be great. I would read that. Sounds like great fanfic. Wait, it can't be great fanfic. That's an oxymoron. Disjointed days. All that from an optional mission. Depart as soon as you are ready. Don't say Axel fanfic, there's a bored writer in the audience. I'm terrified. As a former KH fanfic writer, I feel insulted. That's fair. It was Wonderland. Oh no, Wonderland. Oh my furry whiskers, I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. Oh dear me, I mustn't make Her Highness wait. I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. No time to say goodbye. Hello, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. What's his big rush? Yeah, maybe I should have a look ahead. Oh no, Wonderland. No, Wonderland's great. Oh, not when it lags like that. But that's a really cool bit because you're actually controlling Sora in the flashback there too. Oh, I'm so late. I'm very, very late. Oops. He's so itty bitty. Did he shrink?
Oh, he drank from the bottle, you see.
Huh? Who?
Down here.
Cheshire Cat is chaotic neutral. A talking doorknob?
Of course, and a rather sleepy doorknob at that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be going back to my nap.
Wait, you said he drank from a bottle. What bottle?
The one on the table. Why don't you give it a try?
You mean those?
Presumably. I would really like to get back to my nap.
One with the blue label has a picture of a big tree shrinking. Here goes nothing. Oh boy, just drinking strange fluids. I would agree with Brevin. Oh, it actually worked. Hey, that rabbit went through here a minute ago, right? Hey, kids, always drink from unmarked bottles pointed out to you by strangers. For legal reasons, I'm going to say don't do that, kids. What's behind this door? Phew. Guess we won't be finding out anytime soon. Wait, he's a door. His mouth is a keyhole. I have a key. It couldn't possibly be that simple, could it? Ooh, a slot releaser. That's freaking nice, actually. Ooh. It just hit me with an interesting thing. Level down. All my stats are down. That's actually really interesting status effects. But it's also annoying because now it's taking longer to fight these guys. Why are there more? Oh, everything got worse. Oh, I'm confused. And in classic JRPG fashion, confusion equals opposite controls. I shrunk, so did my stats. Yeah. Get pretty susceptible to magic, fortunately. Which I should have guessed, given that they're... Stab that! Ooh, those ones are especially weak to ice. And I'm out of ice. Get out of here, Sapphire Elegy. Not like that. I meant more like lose all your health. Yay! A great caprice? I don't remember giving you marching orders. Uh-oh, Bad Roxy's redeemed a father joke. So I just found out the other day that, you know, famous author Stephen King, guy who wrote It, Cujo, lots of other stuff, very famous horror novelist. Anyway, turns out he has a son named Joe. I'm not joking, he is. How do, I didn't even see what that cutscene did. How do Catholic dioceses and religious communities vary in terms of priest country of origin? Like, I've heard a lot about African priests, met several of them from 3 different dioceses. Do different dioceses have different countries that they like to recruit from? Do religious communities have members? Yeah, so different dioceses have different relations. So, like, you know, there may be, like, a priest from a particular, or the bishop may have like a connection to the Philippines or to Mexico or Uganda or whatever, another nation, or they just know that there's a lot in that particular area, and so they'll begin conversation and discussion with them. Ooh. It can vary from religious order to religious order. Some, because most international orders will have a chapter or a a province or whatever you want to call it in that country, they would say, well, join that country. And they might share and overlap a little bit between nations, but not much. No! No one told me to prepare for a boss. Ooh. Ow, I jumped over those. Where are you? I heard you. There you are. This guy hits like a truck. Like his punch. I'm also out of... Well, I guess I'm not out. I have 1 cure left now. Ow. Yeah, just so long as you don't disappear, Apex. Come on! Squirrelich! 100 bits, thank you so much. That time of the month, uh-oh. More points. The points must be gathered. Rude. So good to see a squirrel. I hope you're having a good day. I walked right into that one. No! Consarn it. Oh, okay, fortunately it just drops me off here. I said he hits like a truck, and then he did. My ears candy? I don't remember agreeing to put candy in my ears. Candy corn would fit in my ears. I don't think that's a good idea, though. Just because it can doesn't mean it should. Like this thing disappearing. Just because it can disappear doesn't mean it should. Excuse me? No, get out of there, Roxas. There we go. RTC authorized. Well, but I can't get through the door because I'm so tiny. Again, just because they can't doesn't mean they should have. Yes, take me back to the castle, please. I wonder if that white rabbit went. He sure was in a hurry. Well, we'll never be back here, unfortunately. Hey, here, do that too. Just one of my points. That's fair. All by myself today, I guess. Well, if you have lots of points saved up over at Pitoni's channel, you can use those to vote for me this Saturday. There's the Game of Faves Sudden Death Tournament. I'm competing in Game 3 and co-hosting Game 4 and hopefully competing in Game 5 if I win Game 3. So vote for me so I win. Occasionally I do, just not today. That's fair. I mean, I do appreciate that the Sword of Damocles of Terrible Candy does loom over my head. What time is Game 3? 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Assuming other games don't go long, but they shouldn't. Like, it's usually 90 minutes to a game, and they've blocked out 2 hours per game. Wow, those flames are so realistic. For real, for real. Gambled 9,001 points. Oh no! You gambled on the wrong... You never bet against map is what I learned. Oh. We're out on Heart Collection Day, right? I'm not cut out for combat. I'm gonna kill them to give me a recon mission, or I don't know, something unviolent. Do I get points as co-host? No. I just get to heckle everyone. The Coliseum's our best bet for finding a whole pack of Heartless at once. Follow me, Demix. Always bet on Duke. Yep, fair. We'll find Heartless in there. Okay, right on. Oh, but should we just go waltzing in? Won't someone see? Don't worry, we'll just say we're here for aspiring hero, here for some training. Trust me, it'll be fine. Wait, training? That sounds like work, which means sweating, which is gross. It's that or stay out here. Actually... Yeah! What? We'll split up and form 2 strike forces. I'll handle the Heartless out here, you take the ones inside. Covering a broader range means more efficient collection, right? Demix, you dirtbag. I guess. And while you collect those hearts, maybe I can collect some Z's. What's the matter? Nothing. Well, good luck in there, Roxas. I like how he's like, no combat, and then just instantly into combat. Why are there so many of them? Fortunately, ice cannon, weak to fire. What if Duke and Mep are on the same episode? Ooh. Well, I don't think that's the Duke that Brayherd was referring to, but in that case, I'm probably still betting on Map. Bye, Demix. You nerd. Huh? He's not here. Come on! Is that all you got? You call yourself a hero and use form like that? Well, it's coming from the arena. Welcome to the games. You gotta put some zing into it. Stay focused. All right, next exercise. Keep moving. No breaks. Come on. You can take more than this. Blech, what a tyrant. Demix? I'd be running out the door in tears after 10 minutes of that. Done with all Heartless outside already? The what? Oh, you're right. Yeah. They sure picked with the wrong guy to mess with. Uh-huh. I finished early, so I thought I'd drop by and see how you were doing. I'm still not done. Yeah, well, no biggie. I'll just find a comfy spot and kick back for a while. Demix. He's training way harder than I was. Why's he getting yelled at like that when he's doing such a good, solid job? Is he much stronger than me? All right, Herc. That's it for today. Rest up for the next one. Hey, there's my rookie. Ready for today's training kit? Just say the word. Okay. Word? The word. Bird? All right, let's get this show on the road. You all set to train? Yeah, unfortunately. Even though I think the training missions in this one are way too difficult. Because, like, I hit that barrel there, and there was a Heartless, and it was like, nah, I'm going to go for the other barrel. Helpful. Excuse me, I was hitting you. That should have interrupted your spell. Your verbal and kinesthetic motions were interrupted. Yeah, if they're actually close to the barrel, it sometimes works, but sometimes the barrels are just like, nah, I see another barrel. My heart longs for the other barrel. Did I get enough? Let's find out. Nope. Now I've got enough. How am I not getting nearly as many points this time, and yet I'm actually doing the thing? I don't understand these games. Yeah, I tried even harder that time, and I actually did worse. So I don't know what you want, Phil. I gotta tell you, kid, I'm impressed. I think you're ready for the big time, so I'm clearing you to enter the games. You are? Yep, you can try for the Rookie Cup anyway. I figure you may not place, but at least you'll put up a decent show. In the meantime, we'll keep you up to elbows in training, so stay sharp. Speaking of which, who was that you were training before? Oh, Herc? Oh, he's another student of mine. Been at it a long time now. Why were you working him so much harder than you do me? Is he that strong? Well, sure, he's a hero, kid. If I put a squirt like you through that, you'd croak on me. It's not just that. Huh? Of all the heroes I've trained, he's special. Maybe the best. I got high hopes for him. He's gonna be the one. The one what? Enough talk about Hoik. You just worry about getting in shape for the tournament. I got 2 words of advice for you. Eat, sleep, train. Remember, I got expectations for you, kid. So people work harder when they have expectations? The organization expects me to do a hard mission all the time. Aren't expectations the same as orders? The one? Herc is Neo? It's the secret lore. Hey, Roxas, you done? Huh? Yeah. No thanks to you. What's up, man? You look out of it. What kind of missions do you usually work? Me, recon stuff, mostly. No taking out Heartless? Nah, it's rare that I do anything that strenuous. But aren't you expected to? Ha! They know better than that. They want to keep the machine running. They pick up the right tool for the job. And that's me? The right tool for the job? Something happening there, man? No, let's just RTC. Munch. All by yourself again? Yeah. They've been keeping me busy lately. Shion, too. Yeah, no kidding. Ah, come on. What's with the face? What face? The face. I don't know if there's really much I need to throw in here. I suppose I could throw in an extra cure.
Depart as soon as you're ready.
You okay there? Your voice is kind of slurring a little.
It's fine.
Sykes has just had a little too much to drink. Ominous balloon? That's weird. Where did all the Heartless go? I should have seen some by now. What's that thing? This wasn't here last time. Some sort of weird balloon. Let's see if I can blow it up with a pumpkin bomb. Nope. Well, Doctor, what do you think? I've put a few new ideas in place for this coming Halloween. Oh? These balloons contain a terrifying trick. Anyone who touches them is in for quite a shock. I see. Interesting. Be sure to tell me about any more ideas you have, Jack. I will, Doctor. It's not enough, though. My perfectly petrifying Halloween is still missing something. Terrifying trick. Is there something inside? Sure, let's find out. Or just... Whoa. Oh! I am spooked. There were images of bugs. Ah. Is there another balloon? Spoiders. Burn it all down. But spiders are ultimately our friends. What could it be? What's missing? Zero is so blue. What is it, Zero? I'm busy brainstorming. Is there something special about that balloon? Well, I don't think it's an earring that's going to show up. Oh, that was unexpected. A Heartless popped out. How strange. I certainly didn't put anything inside like that. Aha! Someone else must have decided to add a new level of terror by hiding a Heartless inside. I'd better keep brainstorming. Or they'll think of all the good ideas first. Wait, I've got it! You were trying to give me a hint, weren't you, Zero? What a good boy. You deserve a treat. Bone. I feel like this version of Jack is especially vacuous. I'm going to run over to Dr. Finkelstein's lab right now. This new idea is really going to wow him. So that floating dog you think can sniff out Heartless? Maybe if I give it a bone, it'll help me track him down. That's the lesson you learned. Gives you a bone, it'll show you Heartless's hiding place. Yes, I understand though. How am I supposed to? I cannot examine Zero's own doghouse. If I jump, it gives me a reticle for just a moment. There we go. Excuse me, I'm trying to hit you guys. We quit floating so high up. Like, these guys have, like, no mass, so when you hit them, they just go flying. Bone to my left, bone to my up. I'm also carrying a bone, so I can't actually pick up another one right now. That's the little speech bubble with bone means. No. There we go. You're back. Taking a break. Well, you join us in time to be... For terrible camera angles, apparently. Zero, have a bone. What a completely nondescript spot. It's a shame there was nothing else in this graveyard where they could have possibly said, hey, here's a point of interest to have Zero examine. Truly a crying shame. Do dogs even like bones for real? I would think so. Found ya! Huh? Catch! Ah! Got you again.
Run away! Where to? Big Adventure Squad! Teen Girl Squad! What's her face? So-and-so! Our secret hiding spots!
What in the world? Some kids that messed with me before. What's their problem? Oh, we don't have time to answer that question, Roxas. Also, that Heartless just disappeared. And I don't think I got the... They interrupted my fight, and so it respawned with all of its health. That was exceptionally rude. That was worse than throwing an explosive in my face. Yeah, I feel like dogs would enjoy bones because marrow. Where you going, Zero? Where you going, boy? Do I have to give you another bone? No, I can't. You're still searching for me. I feel like I can complete this mission. A little extra gusto. Never figured out why Brevin dies with boxing gloves on. It's my secret tech. Dog will chew on anything. I mean, yeah, that also sounds like a dog. Really, there are ghosts in the guillotine. Okay, but you're going to have to be more specific, Nana. You have 3 cats. And they probably all eat cardboard. I have another bone, Zero. No. Give Zero the bone. There we go. Phantom Gear 4. It's Hideo Kojima's new game. Why, yes, I will, RTC. What is Phantom Gear described as? A magic booster. Okay. We'll look at stats. Oh, we're going forward like 15 days. Love. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. Okay, where is our weapon? Okay, so our weapon's right there. So it's Nimble Gear 4, okay. Where's Phantom Gear 4, okay. Okay, so Nimble Gear 39.6. 52! And a huge boost in magic. Yes, please. Throw in a magic unit as well while we're at it. Throw in ether and another potion, why not? Oh, that's a short little keyblade. So today's gospel is really interesting and really weird because it's like there's this miracle in the middle of it where Jesus is like, Peter, go fishing for us and to pay the tax. And it can seem so bizarre and outlandish that it makes us miss kind of the point of that story, of that pericope, as they're called. And it's Jesus kind of saying, you know, like, outsiders pay the taxes for these sorts of things. I'm not an outsider. It's sort of a self-revelation, sharing of that he is God. Like, why would you make God pay to come into God's house? So just what barriers can we seek out in our life and say, okay, this doesn't need to be here. This is blocking someone else from knowing God. So, but we're going to go to an ad break now, about halfway through the stream. So, good chance to get up, stretch your legs, get a drink of water. But I have a poll for y'all to fill out. So there's been some discussion internally about potentially changing the time of this broadcast from 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to either 3 or 4. But I kind of wanted to float what the possibilities would look like with y'all as an audience and see what you think about changing it, what might work better for you as a viewer or a mod. So, you know, just kind of, and I'll probably be running this this poll again later in the week, just to kind of make sure I get a decent sample size of voices in the community. I think there's some good potential opportunity in doing it, honestly. So, but, you know, I want to get y'all's input too. But anyway, we're going to go to a commercial break, so take a moment, get up, stretch your legs, get a drink of water, do what you need to do, and we will be right back. And we are back. Hey, kiddo, keeping up with that hero training? How about I take a look? I know, no, we're not going to talk about that, Zigbar. Hunting missions are seriously not my scene. She left, man. What, you missed her again? Axel, don't sit like that. It's really bad for your back.
Depart as soon as you are ready.
Vanquish the Heartless Threat. Unidentified giant heartless. Oh, good. Axel sits there. Someone like me. Rawr. Whoa. That was the beast. Did something happen? Oh, there's only one way to find out. Oh wow, I hit like a truck now. If that other dog would stop barking on me all the time. Hitting me with its bad breaths. Bad dog. Bad dog. Oh, this keyblade is so short and you feel it though. And it has really slow swings. I might need to change out the magic tech thing for the, for the combo tech ability. See if that makes it better. Yeah, it's a really short Keyblade compared to the last one. But it's very powerful, so it's kind of a worthwhile trade-off. And anyways, ooh, treasure chests. No, the big one. The big one in front of you, Roxas. Seriously strong magic, though. Rawr, rawr, rawr. That sounded close. By the bridge? Oh, we've never been to the bridge, actually. Huh? Oh, dang. What could do this to him? What's out there? Everything's fine. The Heartless have invented siege warfare. Roxas is not the good guy. He doesn't have a reason to do anything for the beast. That's a big cannon. Well, I may be, but that doesn't mean that I can do anything. If Roxas is not able to do it, I can't do it. Besides, would it be abandoning him because I have to destroy this thing? This is not going well. Excuse me, I'm stuck. What do you mean that hurts me? Where am I supposed to go then? Ooh. Happy Monday, Crimsonite. This is the last Kingdom Hearts game you played. Oh, I think that's a fine one to end on. You just stop playing games. That's also fair. Roxas, why? Fine, ignore the thing we're trying to target and attack. That's fine, I guess. Except in all the ways it's not. I think I have this boss figured out. It's just very slow. Gotta get out of the way of its battering ram. But it's a really good chance to do a lot of good damage, too. Dear microphone stand, why are you tilting randomly? I'm just sitting here and it's just going... Wah. Wasn't Infernal Machine a Dan Brown novel? Okay, we are out of healing. Okay. Oh, come on! That was cheap. Okay, I need you to release your battering ram. No, that's not your battering ram. It's like it knows as soon as it releases its battering ram, it's done for.
Nice try.
Let's use this limit. Yes! Oh! We did it! That was actually pretty close. Mission accomplished. Time to head back. Now, if there's anything else that attacks us, we're hosed. Oh no. Someone's coming. What happened? Are you all right?
Well, get back inside. It's too dangerous.
I'm taking you with me.
No, I have to stop those things.
But they're gone. You don't have to fight anymore.
Good. That's good. I managed to keep them from getting in.
Please, you must stop doing this. It's too much. If something were to happen to you, I don't know what I'd...
Well, I couldn't bear to see you or the others hurt. A master protects his castle. I don't want to lose you.
I'm right here. So he wasn't fighting Protect the Rose. He was protecting the people in the castle. Protecting her. She's what matters most to him. I'm gonna go tell my boss. Nothing bad will end from that. But Zaldan said it was the rose. Cloying nonsense. Oh, sup, Zaldan? Zaldan, when did you get here? Why didn't you help me? That's none of your concern. Love from a beast. How utterly ridiculous. Love? What's that?
It's an emotion. We're diluting those two as we speak.
Oh.
They think the power of love will save them. That's the stuff of poetry, not practicality.
Love is a power?
None you or I will ever grasp. Nor will they for long. The love between them will wither and die. Love never lasts.
Wow, such a hopeless romantic there, Zaldan. But you don't have a heart. How would you know?
I have eyes and a brain. We have no further business here. Try not to dawdle.
Definition. Love is making a shot to the knees of a target 120 kilometers away using an Airtech sniper rifle with a Trilite scope. What? I'm going to guess that's a HR whatever 47 from KOTOR quote. It still doesn't explain what love is. Is love fighting to protect what's important to you? Where does this power come from? It comes from the heart, Roxas. A thing you don't, or maybe do have. But anyway, it's complicated. Hey, here comes the hard worker. Shion around? Haven't seen her. Oh. Somebody's got to talk to that girl. It's her choice if she wants to come join us or not. I guess that's fair. Axel, I need to ask you something. What's up? Did something happen? That's just... This is gonna sound stupid. Do you know what love is? Sure! Baby, don't hurt me! Don't hurt me! No more! Excuse me? I found out about love on today's mission. And that it's something powerful. That's true, it is, but I'll never get to experience it. Nobody's can't love? We don't have hearts! You need a heart, man! Oh, right. Here's what happens if there's something really special between two people. You mean, like, if they're best friends? Well, you can care about your friends, I guess, but that's not what I'm talking about. So then, love is like a step above friends? Yes, well, no, there aren't steps. I don't get it. That doesn't matter. We'll never know the difference. If I had a heart, you think I could love somebody? Once Kingdom Hearts is complete, you'll be able to do all kinds of things. That's good. You sound so convinced. Cura! Restores your HP over time. The sound of the surf. Roxas, how's the game been treating you? Fine, I guess. Sykes shuffled us together for today's mission. I'll wager we'll make a good enough team. I don't see why not. Oh, by the way, did you hear about what happened to Xion? No, what? She bungled her last mission. Has been in a deep sleep ever since. Can't win them all, I suppose. Xion? And where do you think you're going, Roxas? To see Xion. But you have a mission. Which I'll do. You cannot help her, your comrade. Xion will not wake up. Hey, remember when Roxas was asleep? That's not the point. I should still be with her. What do you care? The creature is broken, defective. Don't call her that. I'll call that thing what I want. How we deal with Xion is of no concern of yours. I didn't ask you if it was. Look at you, Roxas, up in arms over a nobody. We're all nobodies. Settle down. Xion's failings won't affect your standing with us. You've nothing to worry about. Won't affect... What's wrong with you? Look, I'll do my mission later. Oh, Xion. How do they sleep in these rooms? They're so bright. My mission at Beast Castle, Zeldin told me about love and the special power it has over people. I tried to ask Axel about it, but his explanation didn't make any sense to me. Every time I ask him about this kind of thing, he tells me I need a heart to understand. It's like he's dodging the question. Okay, let's remove... Yeah, let's remove a power thing, because that only ups our strength by 1. But I think ability unit gives you better combos. Fire finish. Ignite enemies with fishing blow of your combos. Okay, that seems good. I gotta reload all of these potions and high potions. I do wish there was like an auto refill button you could press, be like, for expendable items. Then I want to take a look, see if we can fit Cura in. Let's cast. Maybe if I take that out. I don't really use my ice magic that much, so I don't mind if it's only level 1. But a level 2 Cura would be pretty nice. Actually, I'm going to save. I haven't saved lately. What are you so worried about, Boppet? She'll wake up when she wakes up, just like you did. Ready to begin? We can leave whenever you're ready. Did you hear about Xion? Word is she fought one tough customer. Ugh, the thought of bumping into a guy like that. See why his recon important? Not that you'll catch me enjoying it. Hey, how about you show me how it's done? Go scout out Mission 45 and fight all the hidden Heartless. Did I do that? Oh, we did. Good. Roxas, in light of your excellent performance, we have decided to award you a new rank. Yay! I'm an agent now! Secret Agent Roxas. I think this puts new... The latest and greatest merchandise is in Kupo. This puts new stuff in the... shop. Ooh, Fyra. That could be good, especially if we can synthesize another Fyra. Although I wouldn't mind another Cura. That's for darn sure. More magic levelers would be nice. But I want to see what else we have. Limit boost could actually be really useful. Prestige gear. One with extreme strength. That sounds better than what we're currently working with, to be honest. Dang it, still on Blazing Gems. Okay, so this one gave us like 59 power or something like that. Yeah. So about this prestige gear. 50. It's actually less powerful than the Phantom gear. But it does give us some defense, which is nice. But it's also probably just easier to handle. Get defense and defense boost when HP is low. That's good. I like that. Oh yeah, that's a... Wow, that actually almost looks like Terra's Keyblade. But that's bigger. So that's probably gonna handle better in fights. You'll be teamed up with Luxor today. Depart as soon as you're ready. Pink Concertos. I think this is the most, like, equipment management heavy Kingdom Hearts game there is. Oh, so we're here hunting for a specific game today, huh? What? Oh, right, yeah. What's wrong? First time here? No, I was here on a mission a little while ago. I ran into this white rabbit in a huge hurry to get somewhere. A rabbit? Really? I lost sight of him before I had a chance to see what the deal was, though. Oh, luck's like that. A window of opportunity can open and close in the blink of an eye. Why are your ears so pointy? It's whether or not you can jump on the chance when it arises determines a man's fate. Let's hope we stand the odds this time around. Right. Let's get started. Yeah, that's faster than the other one. It's a little slower than the one we started with, but it's definitely longer, and that matters a lot in this game. Where did Luxord go? He was just standing there and then he disappeared. I do like that this Keyblade, its combo action in the air is to strike downward at the end. So like you're hitting your enemies up and then you're hitting them back down to the ground to get them ready for the next combo. Hey Britt, good to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. Weekend was good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing well. Also had a nice weekend. Went to Cell Chat earlier. I went to Governor's Island. Enjoyed the good weather. Luxord, quit jumping on my head. I can't jump if you're on when you're jumping on top of me. This guy belongs to the Queen and it's private. No trespassing. Thank you. The TLDR is how do we look to removing barriers in our world between God and ourselves and God and others. Doesn't look like court's in session. Lose something. Who's there? Oh, indeed. Cat? A Cheshire cat, if you please. Or if you don't. Do you have a point? Yes, of course, but then I also had none at all. Which would you prefer? I'll be asking the questions here. Well, then ask away, of course. The answers may be a bit difficult to find. What was that about? I don't know if there's really any good way to explain the Cheshire Cat. Oh, hey, look, we found the pink concerto. Burk-a-doo. If you had to rank the 4 main EPs, what order would I put them in? Of course, being at their prayers, there's no wrong answer. Okay, rank them in what sense? their theology, their liturgical use, personal preference. Favorite to least favorite. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm surprised by one being the least. One is incredibly awkward, clunky, has the most bizarre hand motions, and I think gets this weird pride of place historical viewpoint that's not entirely even accurate. One, 4, 3, 2. See, 3 and 2, I mean, 3's kind of like basically just a longer version of 2. So it's really a close fit for them. I use 2 basically as my daily mass, anaphora, unless it's Lent, and then I use reconciliation too. You're a sucker for the canon. You like the venerable hands of the heaven part. That's fair, and you are allowed to like it, but that's also kind of exactly why I don't like. Is I don't like, I don't know, the whole otherworldly nature it can create. Like, I don't inherently disagree with the theology that it's expressing, but I just think that the way it can be perceived and lived out can be more, can be, emphasis on can be, a problem. No, Luxord, we need to put it back in the corner. I do like the Roman saints used in the canon. You know, it being the Roman canon is extremely fitting and very important set of names. I think it would be really interesting to apply it, the same kind of principle. Obviously, we are the Roman Church worldwide, but, you know, what would an American canon of saints look like in that context? What would a French canon, what would you know... Bravo, bravo, it looks like you found what you were looking for. Of course, there's still one more to find. I wonder if you'll wonder where it could be. We find it easy enough. You told us where to look, but I'm not holding my breath. Oh boy, but you must. That would be loads of fun, but then you'd have to be mad. Mad enough to hide within a birdcage, perhaps, so mad like me. That was helpful. And 2 is interesting in that, you know, we can talk about the historical development and origins of it, etc. But it does represent a more Roman style of praying. Like, Roman prayers historically are very pithy and short, very quick to the point. Gallican, which is French, had a major influence on the life of the church from about 1000 to, honestly, about 1900. It is so much more long-winded. And that was one of the really interesting things about the liturgical reform following the Second Vatican Council, was actually making the missal prayers much pithier, in line with that Roman sentiment. A renewal that we are the Roman Church, so we should, you know, be the Roman Church. That was the idea. Short, like Lord help me. Yep. I think that's a prayer that lots of Romans have said. Game, set, and match. Another mission down. Quite brilliant indeed. Your site's been set and found again. How did you know where they'd be? Are you connected to the Heartless somehow? Yes, am I or aren't I? You'll have to decide. I don't trust that thing. That cat is a walking question mark. Oh, nobody's going to reveal his hand from the get-go. You have to outwit your opponent and get in the give and take to figure them out. And frankly, I don't see you outwitting that cat anytime soon. Ouch! Excuse me! Let's head back, Roxas. There's a reason why people most vocally dislike the changes. We're French. Yeah. Your hot take for 2 is that a lot of times priests just wanting to say pure words and breeze through the mass. I've heard multiple priests admit that this is so unfounded. I mean, I think there is a legitimate use for that, you know, at daily mass in particular. You know, I don't use to on Sunday unless, like, I'm physically ill and it's like, I need to get this mass done. Which, admittedly, hasn't happened, but, like, I do have that in my back pocket. And yeah, 2 can, I mean, all of, that's one of the things, you know, all the canons can be said poorly. All of them can also be said wonderfully and reverently. Axel, about Shion. Sykes told me what happened this morning. Why does he hate her so much? Listen to you. How come you do that? Talk like a real person. Why? What did I say? I don't like how real people talk. I mean, sometimes you sound like you really are heartsick or something. When I saw her lying there, I couldn't stop thinking that she'll never wake up. Yeah, she will. Sykes called her broken. Well, If it cheers you up, I'm probably a lot more broken than her. Sykes knows something about her. Why me and her are special nobodies? Well, it's gonna keep you up at night. I could ask him for you. Really? Yes, really. Sheesh, sit down. I'll ask. Don't get your hopes up. Straight answers aren't exactly his specialty. It's more likely to tell you than he is me. True. I just hope she wakes up soon. First approach to get over it with as fast as possible is what the Palmarians do. I didn't know that about the Palmarians, but yeah, they're weird in lots of ways. Hey, that was uncalled for. I warned you to keep out of this. And I told you I can't. I have to know what Shion's deal is. Why can't you be straight with me for once? Just like you're always honest with me. Okay, you've got me there. Shion has no right to be among our number. Why not? What is it you two see in that thing? Just look at it. Nemo, just because it's daily mess doesn't mean it has to be fast. I'm not saying it has to be fast, but there is a reality of, like, people's time constraints. So, like, the people who come to my church for daily mass are coming on their lunch break. So, you know, we do have an objective limit. Which one is the Epiclesis in a different spot? I mean, they all are a little... Basically, all the Epicleses are in the same spot just before the institution narrative, but they all handle it a little bit differently, how they lead up to it. One being the most different in form. Dodge roll 3. I guess I use that, and I can have a dodge roll upgrade. Hey, Roxas. Find out anything about Shion? I talked to Sykes. Really? What did he say? His lips were sealed. Sorry, man, I tried. That's okay. But he did say he would take back calling her broken if she proves herself more capable going forward. Best thing you can do for her now is keep up the good work. I will. Thanks, Axel. That's great news. How can she do better? She's in a coma. Oh, sorry, Roxas. Some ability panels come in multiple sizes. Palmary Mass is basically the priest saying, like, this is my body, this is my blood, and consuming the elements, like, 80 times in a row. That's weird, man. Oh, I need to take out the previous dodge roll first, which is hidden. Where is dodge roll? Why is dodge roll? Nope. There it is. Then can I put that in there? No? So what's the difference between these? I guess I can buy an upgraded ability for that later. That's the level up. I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna put Fyra in. Burkadoo-doo! Is the Order heralds of the Gospel in communion with Rome? As far as I'm aware, they are. I've heard of them. I don't know much about them, but I think they're in communion. I haven't heard any news that they're not. They're unique. You went to a mass where the Epiclesis was after the institution narrative? That would have been a Byzantine rite then. Hey, Roxas, have you been working on any weapons lately? It's like say a special mission for you, but, well, from the sound of it, you'll need a decent weapon first. Gotta be safe. If you want the mission, show me a weapon with 3 or more units installed. Hey, guess what? It's not that I had any doubts, but you know, anyway. I'll tell Sykes you're ready to take on that mission. Yay, extra mission. It's game time, Roxas. Use synthesis at the shop to combine a gear component A, rune tech, and some bronze. Report back when it's done. Have I done that? No, I haven't. It's weird that he's like, do it, here's the ingredients, but you can't pick what ingredients to use. You have to follow a recipe. Is it a Roman church? I mean, there is a... Is Shannon still doing that Rip Van Winkle thing? How do you know what Rip Van Winkle is? There are certain post-institution narrative epiclesis over the people, but not really. There's probably one which has like a prayer about the offering, but that's not an epiclesis. That's a prayer of offering. Different ones, some give vibe potentially not being commune, but I wasn't sure. I mean, it's a big church. So there's a lot of unique people out there. Oh yeah, I forgot you guys have the Epiclesis before institution narrative. Yep. That be the West. I think this is what he wants us to make, is a chrono gear, but I don't know if that's really worth it. Define epiclesis. Epiclesis is the calling of the Holy Spirit, particularly in the Eucharistic prayer to transform the gifts. Ooh, links with aerial recovery. That could be good. Yeah, loadout's perfect. Everything's fine. Except I keep hitting the wrong button. One of the missions I have for you requires you to visit a new world apart as soon as you are ready. Another new world? Gosh, I wonder what world that could be. Team up with Demyx? Ew. Do I have to? It was the skater bomb. I made that joke last time, and I don't care. Well, we found him. Gonna take care of his friend real quickly. Oh, that's just gonna keep respawning. Cool. I like the use of reasonable in the Byzantine liturgy. We offer you this reasonable sacrifice. And I know it's a deeply theologically, I don't want to say loaded, but like rich word. But just hearing it randomly as a modern American for the first time, you're like, oh, okay. Sometimes translated as rational. Yeah, and that also makes sense again. There's a lot of theology going on there, but just like, if you just talk to someone on the street, be like, do you think this is a reasonable sacrifice? Yeah, okay. Can I get this badge? No. But I can get that one, I bet. Don't let it get away! Demix! You jerk! Could have gotten a rare item, Demix, but no, you had to be like, I'll get in the way instead. I'm gonna break that sitar. Organization emblems. Okay, can do. This track is basically forever stuck in my head. There's one over there, but I can't jump high enough or air dash enough to get to it, so hopefully we don't need it. Of course, I suppose I know we don't need it because there's always the bonus gauge, but still. Dear Heartless, I don't care about you today. You're not an organization emblem. Oh, I bet I know how I get that other one. I go through one of the doors and fall into the bizarre room. Roxas, why are you not grabbing onto the ledges? It would really be skibbity if you did. Was I right? I was right! However, there's more out there and I don't feel like looking for them. However, we do have to fight these nerds so that we can drink the potion. Oh, okay, so fire is not seeking like fire is. I suppose 175 is about the halfway point in the days. Because 350 divided by 2 is 175, so I suppose 179 is the exact halfway point, but as we've already seen, we tend to jump through days, and that happens a lot more going out. I can't collect a heart from you! Oh, good. It's another escort Zero around mission. We love those. Thanks for all the prayers. Still stressed about things, but feeling a lot better. I'm glad. Gonna hit Chap on the way home. That's always good. That should do it. What do you think, Zero? The doctor built it for me. On Halloween, I'll light these lanterns and make my grand entrance. They're in for quite a surprise. Oh, I'm almost late. I'd better hurry to the lab. Be a good boy, Zero. One of these is gonna have a monkey. Yeah, there are differing opinions theologically throughout history and East versus West on that Nanakit. But I think you take the right answer. It's up to God. No. Well, okay, I lit the lantern. Hey, let's go. We've opened up a secret door. Which is good because Zero's not here. Gonna have to use up all of my fire magic on the just to get around. Stop! What? Who's there? No! Yeah, it's you kids again. Brats. You can't go past here.
Roadblock! Catch!
Stop getting in my way! And Roxas joins the hallowed halls of just beating up on Lock, Shock, and Barrel. I think she just knocked herself out with an exploding pumpkin. Okay, we give up.
Take it easy.
Tell me why you're blocking the way.
If we did, you go back there and see her nothing.
The what? What's back there?
Nothing. Yeah, a whole lot of it. We promise we won't pull any more pranks. Please let us go.
Pranks? Getting my way was a prank? Why even bother?
because it's fun.
Fun. I don't really see how it's.
Well, it is. Franks are the best. See for yourself.
How do you keep falling for that?
Now's our chance. Right away.
These children. I like the lantern idea well enough, but... Oh, I wish there was something else to add. A little more oomph. Holes in walls.
Run away. Where to? Our secret hiding spot.
Those three up to no good again, I'm sure. Wait a minute. Explosions! Something with oomph. Explosions! Jack, I was joking. That'll be perfect! Jack, this is a terrible idea you're coming up with. Why did they put one on top of this hill and make it impossible to get through? Or stand on, or whatever. Get down here! Hey, Mel. No, quit running away! Why am I on fire? Because someone hit me with fire. Yay, Halloween Town! That always gets copyright claimed in the weirdest way on YouTube. Because, like, This Is Halloween gets copyright claimed. Fair enough. But then, like, the French version also gets copyright claimed. It's like, oh, okay. It seems a bit excessive. Especially on a video that's already not generating any money. I mean, it doesn't affect the video. It just means that if I ever get to the point of monetizing my YouTube, that video won't make money. But it's just funny that it's like, This Is Halloween, but in French is also copyrighted and it's not claimed. And it's like, it's not the French version, it's instrumental, I promise you. Instrumental is not French. It feels like a French thing to try and claim it anyway. Yeah. No, snowy crystals. I'm all out of fire magic, though. Instruments. French, clearly. Yeah, it uses a French horn. Stop that. You're not even hurting me that much. Because I have pretty good ice defenses for my ring. Your video card just got delivered? Hey, let's go. Nah, video cards are easy to install. You'll do great. No, don't scare... Don't scare Mel, Nana. Come on, Zero, let's get some more. Suri. Scaring people is fun. Well, yeah, I mean, we are in Halloween Town, so that tracks. Oh, there's a Heartless right in front of me. I know, I'll attack the statue. My goodness. Get back here. And TV, none too bright. Yeah, that describes Roxas. If he were a cat, he would totally be a ginger cat. Oh my gosh, you're going back to the main area. I'm so shocked. It's the first time the backpack's been full in a while. Yeah, ginger cats share the same brain cell. It's just probably not their day for it. Okay, Zero, I think just one more and we'll have enough. You gonna go somewhere, buddy? I gave you a bone. Did he just glitch out? I think Zero just glitched out. I'm only mildly salty over the fact that he glitched out when I'm looking for the very last one. Maybe if I change areas. All right. We didn't need him in the end. Maybe he didn't glitch out. Maybe that was just him going, I'm done. Yay. Let's look at our panel management here. Don't mind just throwing an extra Cura. Have it around. Although at this point, actually... like, there's another magic leveler. Got so many points. I can buy that. Just go ahead and buy that right now. I won't equip it, but... move that there. Move Cura, and a Fyra in there. So that should give us... yeah, we now have Cura level 5, Fyra level 3, and Cura level 5. So that is good amount of healing. And I think saving it there is where we're going to call it for the day. Because I don't think we have quite enough time to go diving into the next mission. And I don't want to cut off in the middle of that. So thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be here with y'all today. Join us again tomorrow for 5 Guardians of David for Spirituality Tuesday. It's a Diablo-like set in the days of King David. So I'm curious. I legitimately don't know what it's going to be like. Midweek Minecraft on Wednesday, and then more Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis on Thursday. Hopefully we can finish that up. I'm pretty sure we're near the ending for real this time. We're in Atlantis after all. So hopefully we can finish that up. And then on Saturday, join me over at P. Tony's channel, where I am competing in a Game of Favorites sudden death tournament. I paid for this with my own channel points over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be my game is at 4 o'clock. It's game 3, and then I'm co-hosting game 4, which is at 6 o'clock. And then hopefully I will have won my earlier game, so I'll be playing in game 5. Fingers crossed. Come vote for me. Come tilt the scales in my favor. No, it should be a lot of fun just hanging out and being there. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you so much for tuning in, for liking, sharing, subscribing, checking out the YouTube, checking out the Discord, all the bits. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And when we see who's live, to send you on over to. I'm going to send you on over to a person called Neb. You may have heard of her. If you know CalMage, who's hung out in this channel sometimes, and I think we've raided into CalMage at least once. He's a VTuber. Anyway, this is his girlfriend, if not fiance. I think they're engaged. I'm not positive. Oh wait, no, I'm not actually going to send you over to her. She's not live. Sorry. She's been doing this marathon, but she's currently inactive, but the stream's still live. It's one of those things. Anyway, check her out sometime. Instead, I'm going to send you on over. Should I buy votes? Absolutely. Instead, I'm going to send you on over to Breedy Bard. She's playing some Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. One of the DS ones. But we're going to send her over there. The raid call is going to be Father Raid. Spam that Meet Morp if you got it. And again, hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Take care, and God bless.